Okay. Versatile Vigilante, Young Vince, Uncle Vinny, in here with a very special guest, the man of the hour, Mayhoose.
What up, guys? Excited to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
My guy. Appreciate you coming out, man. This is a conversation been looking forward to for a while. Definitely excited for this.
Me too, man. We've had to reschedule because of me a couple times, so I apologize. But
Soft, man.
I'm glad to be here.
Schedules are meant to be fluid, man.
Yeah, they are. More or less.
Exactly. So, yo, before we get into like the big stuff, I want to first understand like where did you come up, man? We talked about it a bit before, and it blew my mind, but I want to hear that.
So, man, I'm a Mississauga kid, Peel baby, born and raised, Peel side. I grew up basically. My parents first came here when I was 1 year old. We were up in Scarborough for like a year. Don't even remember that. And then we moved to Clarkson. Then I was at 5 and 10 Paisley actually for about a decade, and then moved to like Bloor Dixie by Dixie Mall. Then my parents are now somewhere up by Meadowvale. So a lot of jumping, moving around. I personally don't live in Mississauga anymore, but this is what I consider home. Yeah. This is the come up. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, man. Exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
Specifically the East Mississauga part, because
exactly
grew up in essentially the same neighborhood. I don't think we ever met as kids, but fucking sick that
Yeah. You grew up Fieldgate?
Yeah, Burnham Thorpe and Fieldgate.
No way.
Yeah, man. Grew up, bro. My whole life.
Where'd you go to high school?
Pocock.
Oh, word. You're 97?
95.
Oh yeah, bro. So you know all the homies then?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yes, sir.
You know all the homies.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
Cool.
Because a lot of like Havenwood guys came to Pocock. Yeah, bro. That's my.
I grew up with too, like Holness and them.
Yes, sir. Shout out Tyrell, man.
Shout out Holness,
yeah, I knew all those guys, man. I grew up in that area. Shout out East Mississauga, man. Quick plug for that. So, yo, you grew up in Mississauga, but you are a man of many trades. I don't even know what the fuck to call you, bro.
You can just, a lot of people ask me, so what do you do? What do you define yourself as? Bro, plain, simple, I'm a man like Mayhoose. Like, I'm just Mayhoose. And there's no limit or box you can put on that energy just because I don't like giving myself just one limited form of creative expression.
Right.
And a lot of things that I do are purely base creative. So I'm a creative. Point blank, I'm a 360 creative, meaning I enjoy creative elements of all trade. But at the same time, what I see myself as is a project manager of these creative talents, right? So when you're dealing with like managing creatives, egos, and teams, you have to know when to lead and when to obviously take a B-roll and play your part. And that's where having so many creative talents comes into play, right? When you're doing bigger projects with bigger budgets, events, different kind of projects that require ongoing budgets and people to be paid out, you know when you gotta highlight your talents, or something as simple as like getting an event poster made. I do graphic design, but if I know someone that's better than me, I'm gonna go hire them from the budget to do the poster because I want the best final product.
Right.
Whether that mean not contracting myself for a skill, it's fine. If that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. I definitely
creative project
get that,
manager is what I call myself.
Creative project manager, not limiting yourself.
Yeah. 100%.
No labels.
No labels.
I love that, bro. But like coming up in Mississauga and shit, what was the first thing that you saw in yourself that you like to start creating? Like, were you a kid that was drawing all over the place?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I actually was that kid who was just like a crazy manic child from an episode of Art Attack. That's exactly my childhood, running around the crib.
Yo, huge shout out Art Attack.
Rest in peace, the GOAT, Neil Bushman.
He died?
You didn't know whole fam.
Art Attack?
Yeah, Neil Bushman. That
fucking way.
Yeah, fam.
What an amazing show.
It was one of the greatest shows of all time. In 20
minutes. Yo, imagine that show now on TikTok. It would have been crazy.
At the same time, though, I just feel like it wouldn't have been valued as much.
Very true.
Because we're in such a fast-paced environment now, the attention span is retaining like 15 seconds of content.
What a fucking show, bro.
That was a beautiful show. It's taught me more about art theory, and art history than any school class ever could, you know what I mean?
Real shit. That guy was doing stuff where I'm like, I have no idea what it's going to look like at the end. It's going to be sick. Like,
I'm just like, how did you do that?
Bro, I haven't thought about that show in years.
Bro, I'm going to watch that episode later.
Yeah, same. Going home watching Art Attack, man. That's amazing. Okay, sick. So you're watching Art Attack? And
yeah, so I was watching Art Attack. I was running around, crayons, color pencils, permanent markers in hand, just, vandalizing as a little brown kid does. And obviously my parents didn't like art because they come from a very like heavily religious background. So it kind of came to a point where like I had to step back from visual art specifically. But one thing I kind of always found solace in growing up was poetry. And poetry I've been writing for as long as I can remember. If there's a creative craft I had to pick and cut everything else, like it's not even a debate. Well, I mean, it might be between poetry and like design, but poetry is like my main craft. And everyone's gifted with something. I think I was gifted with the aptitude of just understanding language and poetry from a young age. And what that kind of grew up into as I was kind of going through the school system was just kind of an escape, right? For me to vent, have a creative expression I could kind of keep to myself. And then eventually, fun fact actually, I never really listened to hip hop or music till like grade 11. Like I listened to music, but I wasn't like a music head, right?
Right.
So growing up from like grade 7 to like 10, all I really listened to was Grind Time, King of the Dot, rap battles, and my poetry. The style of writing and the techniques is heavily based on battle rap, and you can hear it. It's more aggressive. It's more like call it flowetry. It's almost kind of like rap.
Right.
So that's where a lot of my creative inspiration comes from, and it's a big part of my environment growing up. So it was played a huge factor in my writing, right? And then eventually when I got into high school, a bunch of the homies were kind of on the same wave. So I remember probably like after November grade 9 for like a year and a half, all we did was just like freestyle battle at lunch. And like that gave me so much confidence. That was
a wave for sure.
Yeah, right? And like it was just like you have the homies doing the I can't do it.
Everyone was really like, yeah, I watched 8 Mile many times. We're doing this shit.
100%. It was such a cultural thing, right? Like like back when like the Dougie and the Jerk were popping, it's like it was just like a communal thing. Like, oh, there's a rap battle after school, everyone pull up, and like might as well wait 30 minutes to drop 2 lines, and everyone be like, yo.
Real shit. That's a fact, man. I remember that stuff.
100%. So that's kind of where like I guess my creative inspiration comes from growing up. I was always a creative. I had to kind of hone back, and that's kind of where I felt there came like conflict internally in my life when I had to suppress my creativity. Right? When I had no consistent creative outlet, that's when I found that I was someone I'm not, or at least acting like that. And there's obviously like struggles of an angsty youth that we all go through growing up, and that kind of transpired afterwards, which just led me to believe that creativity, like art saved my life. Art is like a really big part of my life, and I think it's important to celebrate it.
It absolutely is, man. That's a great point that you touched on, where it's like when you're not doing something you really love to do, you're not at your best.
100%.
100% agree with that, bro. Like you got to do what you love to do every day.
Or you're not yourself.
Yeah.
Or you're not yourself.
It's true, man. Do you feel like it was hard to explain that, or other people couldn't quite understand that?
Honestly, to this day, bro, people don't understand me as a person, and I have no issue with that. Like, being misunderstood is just a part of it, right? Like, when you're like, how do I explain this, bro? Like, people ask why I do so many things, why I'm involved in so many things, why I have my hand in every little thing. There's a saying, actually, and everyone quotes it to me, but they quote it to me incomplete. The saying is, and I get this, the jack of all trades is a master of none, right? That's what they tell me, but that's not the whole quote. See, the real quote is that a jack of all trades is a master of none, but still better than a master of one. And let me just break it down like this. Okay, you look at 50 Cent, you look at Diddy, you look at LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, you look at the biggest entrepreneurs in the world, right? They're known for their come up. 50, Diddy, the rap game, the music label, Death Row, all these things. Then you look at LeBron, Wade, their upcoming was basketball. That's how they gained the majority of their wealth. But now you look at their post investment life, where it's like, yo, what did you do with that money, right? You look at 50, right? 50 has his hand entertainment, liquor, music, film, television, Diddy, like music, film now, right? Like,
for sure.
These guys have their hands in so many different industries, and the difference between me and these guys is just the manpower and team around them, right? If I had those kind of resources, I'd be making those moves too, right? Yeah. So when people ask me why I do so many different things, it's because, I'm aiming at a level that, no offense, you probably can't even comprehend, right? That you can't fathom because you don't see yourself there, and that's where the first disconnect comes. It's like, yo, if you, like we were talking about earlier, right? If you can imagine a life better than your current circumstances, you can create it. And I'm constantly working towards that. I'm focused on that and bringing it to fruition. I'm a very idea-focused person in the sense, like, yo, you got to come by my spot sometime, bro. I have my workroom. And the 4 walls of this room are just covered in whiteboards, notes, and it's like a madman's house. And that's how I think. I think very, like, visually. And I know the second I write something down on the paper, I'm a step closer to manifesting into reality. So I just do that, and I attack until I figure it out. And when people ask me why I do so many different things, they don't understand what I'm trying to do. Like, I am a mogul. I'm working towards these things so I can become a bigger mogul. So I'm in a better position financially, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, so I can use my wealth to help others, right? And I think a real measure of wealth and success, it's never about what you have or the material things. It's about how you're able to put the people around you in a position to win, to succeed. That's real influence.
Yep.
Real wealth is influence in saying, I'm going to make a call and say, my homie does that, you're going to break him on, and then now he's eating substantially more money, right? And having that affluence in life and influence, being able to be affluent with your wealth and then influential with who you are and your power is the main thing. Like, you know, power, money, respect, they all go hand in hand, kind of.
It does. Because you're getting more control over your life. You can't control what's going on outside, but you can have say in what goes on in your life.
100%. Like, you have to know when to say yes and no.
Exactly. Real shit, man. I relate to what you're saying to a lot of those points because, yo, you might sound, to someone, you might sound crazy.
100%.
And to you, probably know, I am a little crazy because I feel that every day. I'm like, I'm a little crazy.
The right word I'd say, like, everyone's a bit crazy. We just hide it, suppress it, and show it differently than others. Everyone's a little cuckoo. I really do believe that. But one thing I will say, a great word to describe me is delusional. Delusional is one of my favorite words because having delusional self-belief is what got me to where I am, where I tell people my goals and what I'm trying to do. I'm just like, how the fuck are you going to do that? I'm like, bro, I have no idea, but it's going to happen. And it happens. I figure it out. And delusion is the perfect word to describe me because that's how I'm able to stay positive all the time. That's how I'm so focused on what I'm doing. And everything is okay, even when it's not, because I'm so focused on creating better than what my current circumstances are. You have to be delusional to do that.
It's real shit. You're a basketball guy, right? I saw on your IG and shit, and I feel like that's a basketball mentality. Like, 100%. I'm the best. Like, I'm gonna go in
put me on a court with LeBron. I'm dunking on him. I'm probably not, but you know, I'm going into the game with that energy. You know, I'm most likely not, like, probability and like mathematically, I'm probably not, but like I'm going into the game with that real kind of energy.
Shit, man. Real shit. I was listening to Barkley talking yesterday, bro, and. Love that guy. He was saying how to be like a superstar, you gotta go into the other city and be like, I'm gonna show you guys something. You guys think you have a star here? No, I'm the real star.
It's that fucking killer mentality. Exactly. It's that dog in you. It's that mentality where it's like, bro, by any means. And it's so crazy you say that because, I found myself this year, like, I found myself not even really slipping, but just kind of going into old patterns. And I was like, why am I moving like this? Yeah. And it was obviously because, got a new spot, fresh, new furniture, life is good, a little lavish, and it's like I got comfy, right? When I realized I got comfortable, I had to turn on that switch where it's like that killer instinct. And like one day I just woke up, I'm like, bro, I can't believe it. And like you just got to attack, and you can never dull that side of you. Like, as men, we're warriors, we're builders, we want to build something, but we used to go to war over nothing, bro. we used to strap up with the blades and the steel and then everything and go into it. That side
exists.
Exactly. So I feel like honing in and mastering that killer wolf instinct inside you is what really separates the good from the great, right? And then how long you do it too, because like you were saying, like, God bless now, everything's better. I'm working for myself creatively, but for 2.5 years, shit was struggle. Right? It's about when you're going to give up, because if you don't have that tenacity and consistency to see to it for a long time, someone who loves it more than you is going to do it. And they're going to get the outcomes because you quit too early.
Facts.
You
leave the party too soon, options are limited. Real shit, bro. So you mentioned I want to go into how you're supporting yourself now. Love that type of shit. But want to hear about the struggle as well.
For sure.
So that struggle... Talk about a little bit that experience for you. I feel like it was probably a big growth period for you.
100%.
Talk a little bit about kind of that surroundings.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Basically, like, long story short, I'm not gonna get too explicit about it, but there were some bad business decisions I made, trusting the wrong people, which ended me in a pretty messed up situation. I kind of had to live in my office for like a 4-month period last year, from basically July 2021 to like November 2021. I had to live in my office, and man, it was the biggest growth and the biggest delusional period of my life. Right, every day I would go. I'd have to hit the gym just to shower, walk back 20 minutes, and I do this every single day. With not even like 10 bones to rub together. And eventually it came to a point where like I had to really understand and know yourself, because if you know yourself, that's when you succeed in life. And I pulled out some old tricks. I pulled out some old ways I used to make money, and just like that, like, I was out of the situation because I use my resources to my benefit. And so often in life we're caught up in what's morally just in the eyes of others, what's morally corrupt in the eyes of others. We don't give ourselves a moral compass, right? There's something in my religion and culture called al-mustaqim, and that means your true north, right? Al-mustaqim is like your true north in life. It's your guiding compass, your morals, your, like, everywhere you go, be the MVP, morals, values, principles. So if you're al-mustaqim, your moral compass is always pointing to your true north, you're good. So I had to realize that I have different belief systems and different lifestyles than other people, and because of that, I could benefit from it. So the struggle eventually became, the reaping of rewards. 4 months in my office, it was crazy, man. I remember I did some of the craziest events last year, worked with so many big names, and after I'd be planning them, I'd go out and do them, I'd come back and I'd sleep on a cot in my office. And it was insane, and no one even knew this for until after it happened, and then people were just shocked. It was like, there's no way you did all this and then came back and slept on your office. And I'm like, yeah, I did, just because it's that killer instinct, man, that mental where it's like, bro, you could knock me down like a million times, take everything I've ever owned, which is pretty much what happened with a business partner. Right. But I'll never, ever kick. I'll just always come back a bit stronger, and that's the difference, right? That's the tenacity. That's people not wanting to give up. How many people in that situation would have been like, fuck this, I'm getting a minimum wage job? Yeah. Done it. But it's crazy because I will never see myself less just because of my circumstances, because I know what I'm capable of, right? You know what you're capable of. The person watching this knows what they're capable of. I will never in my life see myself as anything less valued than what I really am. And it's obviously it comes that was the most doubtful period of my life. Every day, I'd fall asleep with this is kind of personal, but cold sweats, just thinking bro, how do I get out of this situation? How am I going to make this into something better? And there was so much doubt, so much fear. And then it came to a point where it's like, bro, I really have nothing to lose at this point. Just attack full on. And when I did that, man, the rest is history.
That's a great story, bro. I love that you shared that, because sometimes it's not like a easy thing to share your low points. Sharing your high points is, oh yeah, man, get a lot of glory. But the low points, I feel like, is when we really learn. You mentioned knowing yourself, learning yourself. 100%. Those low points, I think, is when most of that is done, to be honest, man.
And I think that's what separates, again, the good from the greats, because people that just want to show you the surface level of their life, everyone goes through struggles. Yeah. Everyone. You're not going to show me your highlights on social media, act like everything's okay, because I know it's not.
Yep. Who are you trying to prove this to? Why? And that's real, man. I think those stories are amazing because... And again, I've been in my share of shit where it's like, yo, what the fuck? What's going on? And a lot of the time too, it's like
it's a result of your own choices, though. You know what I mean? It's all the ownership. It's on you, bro, and that's the biggest factor that people gotta learn. Your life today is a result of the choices you made a year ago today. True. And now everything has a small cyclical butterfly effect. It's kind of just planning and playing out. And that's what people don't get. They think you can just magically wake up one day with $1 million in your set. Bro, you give any normal person in this world $1 million, they'll fuck up the bag within a month. I'm telling you, they will be in debt. Not even just I got 100 left. Nah, they're going to be $1 million debt. You know what I mean? People don't understand management. Getting money, that's the easy part in life. I swear to God, there's a million ways to make it. You can work a 9 to 5. You can work a stripper pole. You can work a corner. You can work a print shop. You can work anything you want to get your dollars. But that's only fucking 10% of it. Maintaining it, sustaining it, and developing it into a foundation where you could benefit from with longevity, bro, that's where you look at who's popping right now. You look at him, her, this, that. They got this on, that on. Where are they in 5 years? The people that were popping 5-10 years ago, where are they now? Bro, longevity is what separates the good from the great. You look at an NBA career. Who was there for 10, 15 years, consistently dropping 30, 10, and 10 a night? Who was there putting up 25, 8, and 6 every night? Those are the people that are in the Hall of Fame right now, no?
100%.
Yeah, and they might not have been the
100%.
people that got paid the most or won the most chips, but they were consistent, right? And that's what separates the good from the great.
Shout out Tim Duncan, man.
Go.
I love that type of conversation, bro. I love that, especially what you said about like the average person, $1 million is
100%.
gone, and those are the type of conversations I hate. Is when people say,
No, I'm going up 10. You can't make 10 into 100. How are you making
exactly
$1 million to 10? Like, yo,
exactly, it's the same.
It's
thing.
not mathing, bro.
No,
The math isn't
not,
mathing.
bro. Exactly, and I love that lottery example where most people that win the
100%.
lottery either blow it or they're depressed. Why? Because they went from not having any bread or like
To having it all, and they
it's
got
not
a taste
natural.
of it. Yeah, 100%.
You know, it's like you got to work to that.
And the craziest part is, fam, if either of us would crack a duppy for $1 million right now in the lottery, we're blowing through half of that, not knowing at the end of the day, CRA is like, yo, fam, that's income, eh? At the end of the mill, was 40 points. And you're just like, yo, I'm in debt $400K. I didn't know that. Now you owe the CRA $400K. Otherwise, you're going to the jail with the RCMP. You know, it's not a joke.
No, it's not.
It's not a joke.
Money is a crazy conversation, bro.
Money's not real, bro. Money isn't real. Like, yo, we look at, like, I see dollar bills in some of these arts. Like, yo, a dollar bill coming from someone who loves dollar bills and putting them together, stacking them up, whatever. A dollar bill isn't real. It's a promise, right? And money's never yours. Money is only yours until someone has something or a service you value enough to give it to them. And then it's their money until they find someone to give it to for their life.
Currency.
Currency. It's a bartering system with money now involved as annotations of debt, right? Because now you look at real money, it's credit. Everything's run through credit. You can't get a mortgage, a crib, a notice of assessment, a pre-approval, anything, unless your credit's like 710 plus, right? So now you're looking at as finance in terms of debt, right? In like the 40s up to like 47, they were valuing the US dollar against the Nixon standard, which is how much gold weighs at the point of time in the country. They don't do that anymore. So what the hell is a dollar worth? You know what I mean? They printed 90% of the money in like circulation history, some crazy statistic like that, in the last 2-3 years. It's insane.
It is. Insane is the word to use.
It is. Because, people aren't waking up to understanding this kind of mentality. Like, the system is rigged against you since the day you're born. Like, since the day you were put into this life, you were not meant to make it out of any circumstantial situation. No. You're meant to stay there because that's where they want you. So for people to think, I'm going to be a good Samaritan, I'm going to do this and get my 9-to-5 and get my mortgage and bro, you're a fucking lunatic. You're going to try to play the same system that's rigged against you with no... Gotta be careful with these words. There's no kind of... handicap, we'll say, with no kind of tool or resource supplementing you to have a little edge, not on your peers, because you're not competing with your peers, you're competing with the system, right? When you go in for a mortgage approval and they're saying like, yo, you have to make a certain amount of money to get $500,000 for a house, right? You're competing with that system where you could have the flow for it, but because you can't prove a stupid document, you can't buy a house, you're fighting against a system that's not going to give you the credit to go get a car you cannot buy in cash because of a technicality. You know what I'm trying to say? It's stupid, bro.
It is. It
stupid.
Is crazy. And that's why I like also going back to what you said where it's like you had nothing to lose. That's a huge reason why. Like, why not bet on something that the reward is very high and the risk... even, you know what? What's the real risk? You're still doing your thing. Like, you're still trying. You're still putting yourself out there. Like
100%. And that's the thing, bro. A lot of times, people would take a guarantee, even though it's lesser than, just so they feel safe and secure.
Yeah.
Then take the risk and go get what they really want. Because, people are like, I'm afraid of failure, right? I'm not afraid to admit that because failure before, it used to get to my head. I'm a winner. I like winning. So before, failure would put me in a rut, a mental decay, and I'd be like, what do I got to do different? But now, every loss is a lesson, right? And if you look at life like that, you're not losing. Every dub that comes your way, you got to readjust, refocus, reattack. Every loss that comes your way, readjust, refocus, reattack.
Real shit. That loss is now experience.
100%. People don't want that.
And isn't that to me is crazy. Like, bro, experience is real money. Like, experience is, I've been through this before. Yeah. I know I can do it. Exactly. Like, the fear is from not knowing. But if you do it before, even if you fuck it up, you're like, I'm going to do this a little differently next time. I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
It's that fucking indecision. I think that's the real bad shit.
Indecision is such a killer of ambition, of life, of dreams, of goals, of everything. Just because while you're sitting around sulking for 5-10 hours a day, if you could do something, some guy's really fucking out there doing it. He's really out there saying, I fucking suck, but I'm gonna suck at something until I'm good at it. People don't want to do it. They don't want to suck at something. And I blame social media, because everyone wants to go into their industry. They want to go out wherever they're doing and be at the top. I'm top dog now. I have nice things, nice materials, so I can flex all these accolades to social media. And it's so interesting because no one understands that the process to get there is what really defines you. The 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years that you do these things, the mountain climb is what defines you as a person, the caliber of your performance, the relationships you foster, the people you know, your network. And people want to skip all that, not knowing that that's the sauce.
That's the whole thing.
That's the whole, like, that's all
Everything.
it is, right? The process and the journey. And there's an interesting saying that a buddy of mine brought to me, and it's very, very true. We're talking about mountain climbs and mountain peaks, right? And I told him, like, yo, a lot of people in life enjoy mountain peaks better because they want to show people what they've done. But at the same time, they don't realize that mountain climbs are the whole journey. Mountain peaks are probably 10, 15 minutes of your life, and then boom, back to it, right? What he said in retaliation to that is like, yo, everyone's climbing a mountain, right? But are you climbing this mountain so you can see the world, or so the world can see you? Right? And this happened a while back, and this jolted my perception to a completely different level. And so often we're put through life with these chips on our shoulder just to kind of prove everyone wrong and prove ourselves right. We lose track of why we started, right? And this is kind of where I started going like super, super private with like my creative projects and what I'm doing. And it's insane, man. It's so insane how like these little like cliches and like these thoughts of life change the trajectory of your life overnight.
I have a fucking thing on my podcast called Cliche Gang, and I have shout out Big Juice. We were just talking about this. They're cliches because they're true.
Yeah, they work. They work.
Simplicity. I feel like simplicity is looked down upon.
Less is more.
Less is more, man. It's real shit. Yo, you work a lot right now with branding. Like, I see you do bags for
local entrepreneurs.
You know, all different merchandise and stuff. Do you feel like working with different brands, do you get to see what works and what doesn't a little bit? Is
it's
that
a
like
cheat code. It's a cheat code because now branding and merch specifically are some of my favorite collaborations. Right? I couldn't collaborate on an art piece for someone because I would lose my mind trying to understand what the hell they want me to make. When it comes to something as commercial and standstill as branding, in the sense that's very clear cut, it's either you like it or don't.
Yes.
It's cool to see, like, if you and I were to collaborate on some merch for VV, right? What we could cook up.
Gonna happen, by the way.
What we could cook up, the designs, the branding, the color choice, the fabric, the textile print, all these little things. I mean, an amalgamation of both our choices. So it's cool to see what we could cook up together.
Yes.
So branding is a cheat code because all these little cool ideas people give you, like the font, the placement of something, color, lighting, you could incorporate into your own style. And that's a cheat code because you're going through all the bad ideas at a rapid rate. Because with your, like, design, for me, boils down to one thing and one thing only. It's the use of positive and negative space, right? And how I see that isn't how someone that's not experienced in design is going to see it. So when you go back and forth with this design knowledge base and this rule base in your mind, you know what works from an aesthetic, pleasing point of view and what doesn't. So you can pick out all the bad ideas instantly. And as you do that, you get better at, you start seeing what's working with someone's personal style and what you can incorporate to your own. Because as you develop other brands, you get a better understanding of your brand.
Very good. That's an excellent cheat code, man.
Trust me, it is.
And I think it leads back to experience again. 100%. Just see more.
And that's like another thing with like why I choose to do so many things, because I don't know what I want to do with the rest of my life, bro. I'm fucking 27. Like, I'm young. I'm ambitious. I've worked a really hard, long time to get to where I'm at. And I'm working even harder to go where I'm meant to go. And I don't know if I'm going to spend the rest of my life branding, doing merch, doing interviews. I don't know if this is what I'm going to want of myself in 6-12 months. I don't know what opportunity could present itself. So it's so important not to have regrets, in the sense that I don't want to look back when I'm 50-something and say, I really fucking liked photography. I should have, picked up the camera more.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it now when I have the time to fuck up and make mistakes and be like, oh, man, that wasn't it. It's all good. Let's get back to it, right? I have that time and I have that that safety net right now. Not much though, because everything's on me, but I still have a bit of a safety net because it's not like I'm fucking 40 with kids, a wife, and a family and I'm running around and I have that intrinsic, the regret that's now manifesting itself into like an ugly life, like I don't want to live like that.
Yeah,
I don't want to wake up one day and be like, yo, I could have done more.
It's very true. And you know what's sick about this type of shit too, experimenting now? When you're that age, you'll still be experimenting with shit because you've already understood.
You get it. Because at that age, it's going to be so much bigger though.
Exactly, bro. Do you know who Neil Young is?
I'm familiar.
Legendary, like, Canadian rock star, basically.
Okay.
I've always been a huge fan of his.
Okay.
He's just like a guy that does his own thing since like the 60s, bro.
Okay.
And basically a documentary came out of his last year, and they recorded an album in a barn, him and his band. They're all in like their 60s and 70s now. I watched it. They're all smoking weed with each other, chilling with each other, fucking around, just experimenting. And it made me happy, bro. I'm like, these guys are doing the same thing they were doing when they were 20 as they're doing 70. And I'm like, that's why? Like, why not, man?
Because,
you're doing it.
Yo, you gotta connect with your inner child, man.
Exactly. 100%. That shit inspired me. I'm like, yo, life doesn't end after you're a certain age. No.
And it doesn't end if you're not successful by a certain age either.
Exactly,
and
man.
So that's social media's fault. We're so used to wanting all these accolades and material things. These things where it comes to like flexing what you have and who you're with. We're in such a materialistic society that people don't understand that none of these people are probably living that life. Like, it's all rent. Or
just for the look of it, And
it's sad, but some people would actually look successful rather than be successful.
Yo, to me, that's their loss.
Yeah.
It's their loss, man. When crunch time comes, it exposes.
Fourth quarter, right?
Fourth quarter, man.
Like, it's a
hide.
The good, what defines a great from a Hall of Famer is what they do in the fourth quarter. It's the biggest life lesson I've learned. This is the fourth quarter push, bro. Who wants it the most? Yeah, you work 20 hours a day for 9 months, but what you do in these next 3 is what matters the most, right? It's the difference between having a 25K year and a 100K year. I've seen it, right? I've seen people do it where it's like, yo, I made 20 up until September, and then I made 80 in quarter 4, and it's like, okay, well, that's a push. Like I've experienced hectic numbers too in the fourth quarter because you don't let your foot off the gas. People think, yes, it's September. Let us go Thanksgiving shopping and Halloween haunting and prepare for Christmas and New Year's and his bar mitzvah and it's like, nah, man.
It's the ultimate grind.
That's where the trap is, right? You grinded 9 months to make 45, 60. Now you're gonna blow that in 3 months. You're just a victim of the system, brother. You're just a victim of the system, and it's like, it's not like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Absolutely,
yeah,
man. I literally split my years up into quarters.
Yeah.
And yo, I'm not saying this to say I'm doing this the right way at all. It's 100%. The right way for me because of figuring out ways of, okay, this is what I gotta do. Like I gotta do this. Because there's only 3 months in a quarter.
100%.
So if I don't, it goes into the next quarter. And you know what I'm saying? It snowballs.
And, yo, that's the most important thing. What you did a year ago defines your life today. So if you were on some fuckery, the fuckery is snowballing and the accountability is running up to you, right?
Exactly.
But if you're on the right path, you kept your moral compass true, you're bubbling, right? You're building, you're adding foundation.
Real shit, bro. When you were starting to roll, like really like gain some traction into what you're doing, how did that change? Do you feel like that changed anything you're doing? Or you just started to see, okay, I knew it would work. Let's keep going.
So, yo, that's actually a very interesting lesson I had to learn. When like I kind of did the bigger events at Objects and a couple galleries after that.
Shout out Objects.
Yeah, shout out Objects. I gained a lot of traction, a lot of new following, a lot of people. But what I also gained were distractions, right? Mm-hmm. People that saw what I built for myself and they kind of wanted to come in on it and just, let me do all the work and do the hard work. And that's a big lesson I learned. Like, yo, when you're really on your path and working towards something, people are going to come and try to distract you, try to get in on it just because they feel like they have some kind of right to it, right? And learning to say no was my biggest thing, where it's like, honestly, bro, it doesn't align with what I'm trying to do. It doesn't align with me or where I'm going. That sounds like a you thing. Best of luck. And that was the biggest thing. Before, I couldn't do it. I would just spread myself too thin. I'd say yes to everything. I'd be like, yeah, I'm helping him, her, him. And what it would leave me with, bro? Stress. Falling behind on deadlines. Unfinished projects. Late rent because now I'm not taking care of what I got to take care of. And when it came to a point, like I think this was like not last December, yeah, that's when I really stepped back and said, bro, I'm a very impressionable person. Like, know yourself. I know this. The people I surround myself with, they have a huge influence and toll on me, and I know that. So this is when I started stepping back and just having my own mentality and mind kind of grow and, like manifest in actuality. And that's when things really started clicking for me, because it's like, this person doesn't even want the kind of lifestyle you're working towards. They're going to burn out in 6 months. And that's what happened. They couldn't keep the commitment they made to me, where it's like, I'm going to be here for this many hours. I'm going to drop this much bread on this, whatever. And they fell behind. And then when I'm making all the moves and all the results they want to get on it, right? It's a fucked up thing, but that's when you got to be careful, because after a certain point, bro, everyone's going to try and come and take the cake you built. And it's not fun.
It's real shit, and to not think about it, I think, is naive.
It is. Like everyone's prepared for that. Life isn't some fucking kumbaya. Money makes the world go around. It pays people's bills. Like, people kill, rob, steal for this shit. Like, it's not a kumbaya. So when people come on these kind of tips, it's like, the eye. You know about the eye? Yes. Nazar? It's very real. The eye is very real. In one way, I can't say I've like managed to figure out a way to beat it, but one thing I've learned is I will never be able to just stop attracting the eye. Like, I could just go ghost, never do anything again, but people would give you the eye just because, like, why is this guy doing well? Why does this guy fucking have this? Why does this guy get this opportunity?
That too, bro.
Yeah, because why? It's because I fucking put in the work. It's because I fucking sat there for fucking how many hours, days, weeks, and months and fucking grinded, sweat, blood, and tears, and you don't have that tenacity in you. It's not that you don't have it. You don't want to use it. Everything I have is like a direct result of what I've built within myself. And people think it's like they envy you for it, not knowing I walked from my office to the gym 4 months in a row daily just to shower. Like, how many people would have folded?
Most.
Right? And I folded. I don't get it wrong, bro. I folded many times. Like, I folded time and time again, but I picked myself back up.
You folded your hand. You didn't leave the game.
No, 100%. Because this is my life, bro.
Two different things.
Me, bro. It's that movie. I love the hustle, bro. I love the process. I love the fucking
paid in full.
A lot of hustle, man.
Absolutely,
bro. I love the fucking hustle. I love, bro. This shit's a game to me, bro. Like, I get up and there's 5 tenets and principles I work on daily: spiritual health, mental health, emotional health, physical health, and financial health. In that order. If my mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical aren't good, my financial is not going to be good by default.
Right.
So every day I wake up, I process, I want to build these things daily. And it all boils down to 3 things. How do I build my mind, body, and soul? Do one thing for each of them daily. My mind, write and declutter. My body, work out, rest. And soul, meditate and let go of what's not serving you. And people, I don't know how to explain this, but it's not like they don't want better for themselves. It's just, they're accepted the circumstance they're in, and they don't see past it. And I was just as much of a victim to this as anyone else until you get that jolt where serious change comes from like a place of utter and true disgust, or like it's a heavy emotion that snaps you out of it and says, bro, there's no way I'm living like this. You know what I mean?
That's literally what it is, bro. I went through that 100%.
Word, talk to me about that.
Yo, it's essentially what you were saying. You know what? Okay, I'll tell you a good story. Like, there was a time, I'd say especially like probably 3 to 5 years ago, in that range, where I'm realizing, I'm like, yo, where I am right now, there's something missing. And it's me that's missing. Like, I'm just not doing enough. And it wasn't even like doing enough. It was
doing what you're really meant to do,
yes,
right?
Yes. And you know what, bro? I was realizing, I think I was going through some shit where it's like, oh man, high school's over, the good days are done, like college is over, the good days are done. And then one day I was thinking about it, I'm like, no, I can't, bro. Life just started. And then I would continue to have this happen, little signs of saying, yo, fuck it, man, like, let's just do it. And there was times even here, bro, where I'd be dolo and I'm like, man, it's not easy, but this is my time. Like, I'm earning what I'm here. Like, I felt better in those difficult, like, where I'm like, fuck, this is a lot of work, than I did before when I wasn't doing shit.
Because there's passion.
Exactly.
That's the difference.
The feeling like, oh man, I'm working so hard, I'm tired. It's a better tired than when you're not doing shit and you're feeling missing, Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm kind of saying? Like,
100%.
That work, bro.
It's fulfillment.
It's fulfillment. It's hard. It's tiring. It's not easy by any means. But it's passion. Exactly.
That's what
keeps you going.
Bro, I know, like, the people I chill with, it's kind of funny. Like, my circle's actually, like, couple homies I work at the studio with. Shout out Moonlight. A couple of other homies I have like in the city. But for the most part, my circle is like 35, 40-year-old people, men, like, at the top of their game with families, kids. And the reason I like chilling with these guys is because, one, they're older, but they never let their inner child die. They're fucking goose. Like, we crack jokes all day, we kick it. But two, bro, is because, like, these guys can teach you more, right? And in life, it's so important. Like, as someone who grew up in the ghetto, my parents came to Canada with $30 in their pocket, wanted to give their kids a better life. I never knew what I was working towards. When you have that kind of hustle and ambition and you're putting towards a blind drive, you're meant to burn out. Because, like, if you're driving, you have a lot of drive, literally, and you have no direction, you're going to fuck up. Doesn't matter how fast or slow you're going, right? So in order to be around more, you have to know people who have more, who have experienced more, and who can teach you this game at no cost, right? Why would you go out and make all your own mistakes, all your own trial and error, when you can just ask big homie and say, bro, I'm trying to draw 50 on this. Is it a good idea? Nah. What you do is boom, boom, boom. You go get a couple of these, boom, boom, rental, boom, boom, and you're good. Right? And there's stuff like this where it's like I ask these guys and like they tell you straight up, it's like, bro, you're an idiot. Don't do that. And they do it out of love, right? Because they don't want to see me fail. They tell me, and it's like I'm going to them like, yo, this is a sick idea, fam. These guys are gonna love it. And they're like, nah, why'd you do that? Do it like this, boom, boom. And it's like their understanding of the game, like life, business, their business acumen, and their just understanding of people overall has saved me from so many headaches, right? Like, there are situations where I trust my intuition so much, but there are times where I'm like, no, I'm going to listen to what he's saying because he knows better.
Yes.
He knows better than I ever would because he has
that already.
That 15, 20 years he has on me is all these mistakes I'm about to make, he's showing me not to.
It's so impressive to me when I see, like, someone a little older than me. There's a few people I've met in my life where I'm like, I can't tell if you are having an amazing day or a terrible day, and I love that, bro. Like, I respect that, especially in a day and age where it's like social media rants, shit for clicks, whatever. To be on your worst and best day, the same, like, at least, like, that's amazing to me.
Yes, but that's the mental fortitude, that resilience. It's that Kobe mentality, man. That's what life is about for me, bro. Exactly, it's just about that mental killer grit where it's like, bro, you could burn this building down, but I'm clawing my way out and I'm rebuilding it with the wood, timber, and ashes I find. Like,
Fuck it. Like, yo, I'll shoot 2 for 10. Tomorrow I'll shoot 8 for 10.
Right? Like, you're still 50%
back
now. You know what I mean?
Yo, real shit.
You're still at 10 for 20 now.
I remember this guy, I took a course one time, and he said the realest shit. Some people, I think, would take it as, oh, that's like
excuse me,
laziness.
Yeah.
Yo, take this quote in. Don't let perfect get in the way of good enough.
100%, bro. As humans, we strive for perfection so often, and I am so guilty of this. It is not even funny. Like, I strive to have my projects, my output, everything perfect, but that's not realistic. We have to let go of this idea that anything is ever going to be perfect, and just work with what we have. That's so much more important. Like, utilizing your resources in an efficient manner.
I feel like you'll be more happy too. Like, just at peace with yourself too. Like, yo, this was pretty good. Now we can go and do something else. Right? Now, like,
life is about seasons and change, man. Life is just about, like, it's forever going and it's forever growing and forever glowing. And it's like, are you going to stay stagnant or are you going to grow with it?
Seasons change and so must I.
Yeah, facts.
Real shit, bro. So, yo, the poetry stuff. When you started with that, were you performing right away or was it just written for a while?
So, bro, I actually hid it from the world for like 15 years. And then like around high school, I kind of did a bit of it. I performed a bit of it in high school, and I kind of fell back into my shell. And I kind of just popped out one day at Objects. That was my first performance in like 10 years since high school. Sick. And everyone was just like, what the fuck? And I'm like, yeah, I kind of do this poetry thing. And like,
you had been writing consistently.
Fam, like, I'm going to pull up my phone for you right now. And
I'm a notes guy too, bro.
Yeah, fam, this is just like my rap bars.
Flowetry.
Yeah, and then my actual poetry. Like, I could read something if you want, but like, yo, it's deep, bro. Like, it goes far, far back.
I love that, bro. That's relatable, seeing that in my phone, all notes and shit.
Trust me, like, you gotta put the energy somewhere and keep it, yeah.
Exactly, man. So you were writing a ton.
Bro, I write probably, like, I write poetry more than I do anything else. And sick. It sounds insane to say because, like, people don't see it, but, like, bro, I wake up and if I have a good scheme, like a rhyme scheme in my head, like...
Write that shit.
Napalm, Great Qualms, 8 Arms. Like, I go right and see what I could do with it, right? And like I do that, and there's a day I spend like the first 4 or 5 hours just like writing. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta run, and it's like it's a passion you got lost in, right?
Hell yeah, that's fun, man.
It is.
How was the like when you got that good reception from objects? What was the next thing for you?
Oh man, that was just like the pushing factor. Yeah. Like, you know, I'm like, yo, people really rock with this. Like it's just words that I've been singing in my nose for a decade now. Let's write some new ones. I put them out. I started doing more open mics around the city, performing more, and then I dropped my first poetry project, which was basically a poetry book with 9 pieces of poem and art, as well as a poetry album with the same 9 pieces recorded on all distribution services like Spotify and Apple. Oh. And then I put that out, and I got a lot of good reviews. I sold a decent amount of books, and then I kind of fell back into my shell, not because I don't want to put it out, but because my resources didn't match my vision. Like what I'm thinking in my head of how I want my poetry and my art form to be experienced, my resources couldn't get me there.
Right.
But now, because, you know, obviously things are a lot better, and like I'm a lot more tapped in with these different creative hubs that can help bring this life vision into life and fruition, it's become like a non-training gear. So I'm working on like another project right now, and it's been good so far. Very early stages. I don't want to give away too much, but it's going to be a very cool project. You can see visually. And for the most part, it's kind of like a magnum opus.
Sick.
Yeah, and like the reason I want it to be like that is because up until now, it's like the best art I've ever made. But I know while I'm growing as a person, a creative, and an artist, it's only gonna get better.
Agreed, bro. The best art you create is the next one.
Right, and it's just consistent level up.
Good for you, man. I love to hear that, and that's sick. Like you didn't do that when you were 15. You did that later age, and that's amazing to see. Like. There's no expiration date. There's no time.
No, not at all.
You do whatever.
And the big difference is like, yo, back then I cared so much of what other people thought that like my self-value with this poetry would have been heavily related to what their reception would have been. But
Classic.
Now, when I know myself better, I'm more self-aware and know who I am. It's a no-brainer.
You're a kid then, man.
Yeah.
You're a kid then. You don't know. That's real, man. And yo, with the merchandise, so you're wearing your own merchandise right now.
Yeah.
That's hard. I think I need one of those.
Yeah, I'm going to get you one of these. All right.
Yo, I'm going to talk about this later. I don't want to give out the sauce. No, got a sick collab idea right now.
Let's do it, man.
P.O. paid, though. That's fucking hard. Yeah,
so it's like the PayPal logo.
Yes. You know, P.O. paid.
Yeah, shout out the webmans, if you know what that means.
That's fucking hard, man. Shout out to them. What was the way, like, you got into this game, though? Like, did you work with someone else? You made your own shit?
So, yo, it's kind of interesting how I got into this. I've been doing print for like a couple of years now, but it was just the weed bags, right? Like I've been doing them for bigger clients, bigger amounts. And then it came, I actually talked to a Gallery 223. Shout out to Gallery 223. You know, they had a great print facility. I bought in a couple orders. And then I'm like, yo, this is pretty easy. I started taking on a couple of my own clients. I then moved out to a bigger spot right down the road, actually. It's like a huge print facility that my family friends own.
Dope.
So they really plugged me in. They started giving me wholesale prices for lower. And it was just kind of like, yo, people think I do so many different things. Like there's art, right? Visual art, there's branding, there's design, there's prints. Not understanding it's all one vertically stackable market, right? And I'm just attacking different points of production throughout. So whether it's ideation, right? Thinking of a creative brand for you, whether it's brainstorming, bringing that creative brand into life, or its creative direction, picking the right colors and font, or print production when it's getting your idea printed onto the thing. It's all one process. It's all
different
one process.
toppings on the pizza.
You know what I mean? Like it's all one process, and you get it, and other people think it's like, yo, what are you doing? You're doing this and you're doing that, not knowing I have a secret like sales pipeline, ideation to presentation in my room. Like it's outlining everything, and it's like, bro, I don't care to be understood anymore. I realized this like a year ago actually, where it's like I'm not meant. I wasn't put on this earth to have people understand me. Like, you know, fuck being understood, bro. I'm here to project what I understand, right? And through my experience, my voice, people will understand what they need to from their own perspective.
Exactly.
Being like trying to be understood is like, bro,
it's a waste of time, bro. You might as well bang your head into a wall.
Yeah, you know.
Why?
Do you understand yourself? Are you self-aware enough with yourself to look in the mirror and say, bro, I don't like how you're doing this, this, and this. You got to tighten up. People usually answer is no, right?
Exactly, bro. That honesty with yourself is number one. It's not worth it, man. I don't need to explain this to you. I don't need to.
Because I really do this.
Yeah,
because I really do this.
You don't need to come with me, bro. You don't want to do it. You don't do it.
I feel like though, like, yo, in the past, that has been one of like my shortcomings is being too humble, and that has gotten like opportunities taken away from me.
Yeah.
Just because they thought that like I couldn't handle it, just because of my underwhelmness. When in reality, it's like, bro, I've been doing this for time. I know what I'm doing. Get the fuck off my neck, right?
Exactly.
So when people see that, they're like, oh, yo, this guy doesn't know what he's doing, this, that. And like, bro, being too humble will snatch opportunities right away from you. So that's when I'm like, I had to realize, like, bro, I really fucking do this. I'm not going to have some fucking immature amateur from Timbuktu nowhere come and tell me like this is how you, because no, I do this. I have the receipts. I have the numbers to back it up, right? Like a Hall of Fame athlete should.
You, yes, you got it. It's stated. It's documented.
Yeah, exactly.
You need a bit of that arrogance, man. Especially if you.
I'd say arrogance. I mean, confidence is one thing, but I think arrogance is more about perception, right? Like me popping off, talking my shit, saying I'm good at this, that. People will perceive it as arrogance, not knowing that I'm just grounded and confident with who I am, right?
Exactly. If you say I got this, oh, you're fucking arrogant.
Yo, you know what? The fastest way to piss someone off? Call yourself a genius publicly. Like, I am a genius. And then like, oh my God, look at this blasphemous human. Like, who does he think he is?
They won't even say why you're wrong.
It's like, no, how dare you think so? It's like, bro, I'm a fucking genius. I know this. I embody this. I live this.
Yes.
You know? And then people know it too. But they don't want to admit it. You know, it's when you, bro, people will just hate just because you have a high self-value, self-perception, just because they hate on themselves. They're so miserable, sad, and pathetically insecure that they will hate on someone whose light is shining. They'll say, yo, fuck that guy.
Misery loves company, bro.
That's why I stay by my dolo.
You're speaking my language, man. You're speaking my language. Yo, I'd rather be dolo than around something that's fucking
100%,
not a good thing to be around.
Bro, if it doesn't align with where I'm going, fuck where I'm at, because people don't even know where I'm trying to get to. So if it doesn't align with where I'm trying to go, bro, it has no place in my life.
Real shit.
No place.
It's true, man. That's where I think maybe ruthless is not the right word, but
yes.
In a way, like,
ruthless.
Ruthless. This is not good for me. Don't worry about it.
The amount of friends, people I grew up with that I've cut off ruthlessly just because I understand you are now a liability and dead weight in my life, not because you're not providing any value, because I don't need value for your homie, but because you yourself is pulling yourself down, and by association and affiliation you're gonna pull me down. I'm distancing myself, and I'm not gonna like, yo, there's been situations where I've had to cut ties, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, I can't ever be your friend again. I'm gonna cut. No, it's just like, yo, I distance myself. I step back. I stop linking people. I change my number like every 3 months. I'm not gonna lie to you. And you know, it's important to do these things.
My language. Yeah. Bro. When you born?
July.
Okay.
Yeah, what about you?
September.
Okay.
But yo, I feel you on this shit, man. It's like, yo, it's maintenance for
bro,
me.
Life isn't a joke, bro. Like, you know, like I really have no one to depend on. I really have no safety net, no plan B, C, D, D. Like, yo, it's either this works or I die trying. And I'm fine with that. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah, exactly, bro. That's it.
Like,
exactly. Shout out 50 Cent again.
Yeah, you know,
facts,
Hustler's Ambitions. Shout out Jeezy.
Yeah, all these guys, bro. Like, I like what you said. It's not a joke. It's not a fucking joke. Don't play with my shit.
And bro, this is the one thing that like gets me still to this day triggered is when people come see you doing what you're doing, no help, you're fucking nice at it, you're doing sick, then they come in trying to benefit, saying, broski, you know, I like what you're doing with this event, let me come do media. You're like, all right, I'll give you opportunity, come through. You put them on the opportunity, and when they get the position they asked for, they can't handle it.
Hell
right?
No.
And that's such a funny thing, bro. There's been so many times people have been envious, jealous of like what I have and what positions I'm in or what I'm doing, not knowing what it takes to play these positions.
Exactly.
You know, they really don't know what it takes, the mental tenacity, the focus, the fortitude it takes to be in these high pressure situations where there's 400 or 500 people and the fucking toilet's not working at an event. There's 400 or 500 people and there's a giant liquor spill in the middle of the floor with no wet floor sign. There's 400 or 500 people waiting outside of an event trying to get in with no security because he's an hour late. What are you doing in this situation? This is what separates the good from the great. Like a measly person would fold and crumble and say, oh my God, this isn't my job, I'm going home. Someone built to take on that challenge? All right, cool. Someone get a black shirt, put up big homie at the front for 10 minutes till security's here. Get the people coming in, clean up the spill, and make sure the bar's restocked, because if the bathrooms are done, you know what I mean? There's no one more bar. Facts. And all these little things, they come with experience. They come with knowing the game, knowing how things play out, because, bro, to this day, my favorite quote, I even forget who I said it. If you give me 6 hours to cut down a tree, I'm spending the first 4 sharpening my axe. And to this day, bro, deadliest quote ever. Because, bro, when people see the shit I do in the events and the projects when they pop out, they're thinking in real time, oh, yo, man probably just dropped this. Like, fam, I'm in my room, in my office, plotting with mind maps and visual boards and this and concept maps, just plotting for 6 to 9 to 12 months before it's even publicly announced that I'm doing it.
Exactly, bro. You can improvise on those things because you planned the bones.
Right?
The main shit, I know what it is. It's the foundation. You can't paint bricks. They got to be real bricks.
What I mean? Yeah, bro. And
it's got to be real.
The funniest thing is now is like, yo, people have seen the events I've done. They've come to them. They've experienced, the great immersive vibes I bring. But it's like when they come to me like, yo, how do you do this? Bro, I'm not a gatekeeper. You want to know how to do it? There's 6 steps you got to know. Food, drink, security, bartender, venue, lighting, and sound. Simple. You got the sauce for an event right here. Go do it. Nah, but fam, I want to do it like you do this. Bro, I gave you the 6 things. Fill them out with your own resources. No, fam, but this okay, bro. See here, what's your email? Okay, cool. I'm gonna send you a project proposal template. This covers everything from project timeline, budget, team involvement, team communication list, milestone list, project timeline. I'm giving you the entire fucking recipe. Here, fill it out. But yo, broski, I don't know, fam. Like, yo, you know what I mean, fam? Like, yo, how'd you do this? It's like, yo, fam, I did this. I filled this out. I plugged it in with my resources and network, and I made this happen. Go do it. But no, fam, I can't. It's like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, yo, you want me to fucking go do the event for you and give you the money?
What they want.
Yeah, it's like, bro,
exactly
that's the biggest thing when I started seeing real success. Bro, I get calls like every day almost. Yo, fam, could you manage this event for me? Could you? I'll give you 60-70%. It's like, bro, you think I want 60-70% of like $5?
I can do that, and I can do the 100%
on my own. And it's like, bro,
60% of what? Bro, it's not a thing.
It's not, bro.
You gotta have it.
Yeah, but at the same time, you have to be ready to take a loss just when you see an opportunity. Because
absolutely,
I would rather have 20% of a watermelon than 100% of a grape. You know what I mean? But when people like, yo, and I've lost a lot of friends like this too, bro, where it's like, yo, they see what you've done and you're doing for yourself, and then they want that. Like, yo, fam, come do this for me. It's like, all right, pay me. Yo, bro, so you can't just do it, man? All right, yo, I'll come out. I'll do it for a couple of times because you're my homie. You held it down. I got you. Give you some consultation, help you out for a couple of weeks, and then you fall off. Yo, bro, I need you to do this for me. What do you need me to do? Everything. Fuck you mean I need you to do everything for me to get your shit run, bro? Like, you go do it yourself, you know what I mean? It's like, fam, I can't do it like you. It's like, no, because you didn't put in the legwork.
Because you're scared, man.
Because you're scared. You didn't put in the, fam,
exactly.
There's a 10-minute YouTube video for fucking anything in this world.
Yes.
And that's where I learned everything I know. Everything I have, I constructed, my templates, my project designs, everything is based on what I learned. And people don't want to learn.
It's true, bro. Shout out YouTube, man. The ultimate doctorate degree out
real,
here, It's true, though, bro. They want guaranteed results. Hey, you're not guaranteed any results. I'm not guaranteed any results.
Tomorrow's
but we're doing it.
Yeah. And it's either you're going to risk it for the biscuit or not.
Big facts, bro. Okay. Quick intermission. Kept the jackets on just for fun, man.
Yeah, man.
But yo, amazing conversation, bro.
100%. Thank you for having me.
Hell yeah, man. I was looking forward to this shit. And shout out Hari, man. Shout out HP.
Yeah.
Real legend. Set the shit up low key.
Yeah, he really did.
Great guy, bro.
Great guy.
So yo, we talked about a lot of shit. What would you say a main takeaway, a main gem you would want to kind of summarize this shit with?
Honestly, man, I'm gonna give a couple, if that's cool.
Please do.
Number one, man, know yourself. Like, self-awareness is by far the most undervalued skill set in this world. If you know yourself, you know what you're good at, what you're bad at, your likes, your dislikes, your passions, you can use that to your benefit. Just know yourself, right? Do things that are in line with your moral compass, your true north. Definitely know yourself. And another thing I would say is know when to say no. That's been the biggest lesson for me this year. Learning when to say no to certain situations, opportunities, projects that aren't for you. That no will save you a lot of headache and time if you have the foresight to know how something will play out based on past experiences, interactions.
That's a great one, man. If you don't know yourself,
other people are going to tell you who you are, right?
Exactly,
and then you're going to play into it.
Your own clay.
Right?
Real shit, bro.
Mold yourself daily.
Mold yourself. Love that, man. That's a great one. That's an excellent one, man. It's not easy to do. It takes constant work, practice, but
consistency,
it's worth it. Consistency all day, bro. Also, I see you showing a lot of love to Moonlight Studios. Talk a little bit about that affiliation.
Yeah.
What kind of they do over there?
So, man, shout out Moonlight. Shout out Sava, the owner. Like, yo, since the get-goes, these guys have been nothing but helpful. The relation there started a year and a bit, where they did lighting for my first show. right? Massive success. Second show, even bigger success. And then we kind of just stayed tapped in, kept up with each other. There was a posting. They're looking for someone to do sales and manage bookings. I'm like, hey, let me come and check this out. And shit, man, that was like in August. And now it's just everything's booming.
Okay, sick. It's pretty recent.
Very recent, actually. It's very fresh, too.
New experience, new
100%.
opportunity. Amazing. And with you, like if someone was watching this and was like, oh man, I like what this guy does, how would they work with you? Like, what are some things you're open to working on?
For sure, man. So some of the services I provide are creative project management. You know, you come to me with an idea, a budget. I'll use my plug and play resources, venues, DJs, entertainment, lighting, sound to make it happen for you with your budget. And then basically just management in general. And then other things like we discussed, the merchandise, cover arts, art, graphic design, branding, logos, a lot of visual art stuff. And events, definitely if you're an artist or creative, I'm working on my next big event, Nuit Noir 3. It's going to be huge.
Sick.
It's coming up sooner than later.
What was it called?
Nuit Noir 3. So
Nuit Noir 3.
Kind of just break that down. I've done 2 of these so far, and basically what Nuit Noir is, it means blackout night. It's a play on Nuit Blanche.
Yep.
This started when Nuit Blanche wasn't going on because of COVID, and I took to it to myself to showcase local artists. And the first event was insane. I'm pretty sure there was like 600 people, 500 people packed out at the first one. Middle of quarantine, lock off stages. And afterwards, same thing. So it's really just an idea, right? And a real leader uses these ideas, and a real leader makes everyone around them better.
Facts. Facts. Exactly.
Yeah.
Take most of the hits.
100%.
But hold it down.
Yeah. This whole mentality of bosses, boss this, but I don't believe it. It's leaders, not bosses, right? A leader knows when to lead, when to fall back. A leader knows that they're going to get paid last. They're going to have to make do the most because you got to take care of your people.
Exactly, bro. A leader is the one knowing that I'm going to probably get the least credit potentially.
Yeah, and that's okay because
get it.
The reason you're doing something, the purpose behind it is greater than you, and that's what fuels you, right? Keeps you going.
It's exactly greater good.
100%.
Love that, bro. And actually, one other question I was meaning to ask you. Yeah. So you used to mention something in the interview. You didn't really fuck with music too much till later in high school. But I see you posting some good. You got good music taste, bro. UK rap.
I have the craziest
playlist.
Yeah, Potter Paper's that guy. Come on, man.
That's a super underground
vibe. UK drill and UK music is literally poetry to me. Like what they say, the subject matter and how the rhyme structure is poetry. So I study it, and honestly, I have crazy music now because I spent time developing the taste and making playlists. So tapping for some of them.
Hell yeah, man. And especially UK is a very Toronto, I think. There's always 100%. Been a pipeline. So to see Potter, Payper, and I think you posted Young's Teflon, maybe?
Yeah. Those are hard, bro. Those art ads, young ads, all these guys.
Young ads, sick.
I listen to them on the daily, man.
That's good, bro. Yeah. Who would you say is your favorite UK artist?
Oh, that's so tough, man. I'd say it's a tie definitely between... No, it's probably Potter Payper by far.
Hard.
Then say Quang Face is up there. You got Lowski, Digga D. Then you have, your Clavish, your Fredo. Fredo's up there for me too. All these guys, Heady One, Abra... Man, I'm more top in the UK than I am out here. It's crazy. You could tell me Chris Brown dropped the album, and I'd be like, okay. And you tell me nobody in the UK is dropping a single. I'm like, all right, I'm on that.
Facts.
Bro, nothing against Chris Brown. It's just not my cup of tea. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah, some bangers
though. Much into the mainstream, too much. But some UK bangers.
I relate to it too. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. I feel like they all have that kind of underdog mentality in a way.
100%.
UK. I don't know one in the States fucks with us. So
we're gonna do it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Blade Brown.
Oh hell, K-Trap, Blade Brown.
I'd say Blade
Do Road, work rate, yeah.
Hard, bro. That shit is hard because they're making money.
Yeah. And Nico and Nito and B. Biggest in the UK.
There's some amazing UK artists.
It's crazy. Yeah, that's so underrated.
Yes, I agree, bro. I was happy to see that you were fucking with that
100%, man. It's for years now. For years.
Bangers. So, any projects you want to plug? Anything floor is yours, bro. Your IG, all that shit.
Yes, IG Mayhoose.art. My website for my creative portfolio, www.mayhoose.art. TikTok is just Mayhoose. I have a lot of cool stuff coming to TikTok and IG for sure. I have a poetry project I'm working on. It's going to be heavily based on visuals as well as a couple of events and an art gallery I'm doing for my work. I kind of just tapped more into doing merch management now. I have a lot of cool stuff coming out with local artists, with local companies, brands just stay on the lookout. The fourth quarter push is gonna be insane. In 2023 is gonna be that year. Appreciate you having me on, man.
My guy, Mayhoose. Fire conversation. Bro.
100%.
I think a lot of people would like this type of stuff.
Hope so.
Real shit only.
Yeah, authenticity.
Authenticity.
No approval.
No.
Authenticity.
Approval, man.
Yeah.
Love that, man. Mayhoose, appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate having me, man.
Vigilante, you know what it is. A lot of bangers coming. Keep an eye out. We're out here, man.
Let's get it, man.
Gang, gang.